What if everything you've been told about laziness is wrong? We live in a world that glorifies constant activity, where success is often equated with relentless hustle and grind. From motivational speakers to self-help gurus, the message is clear. If you're not doing enough, it's because you're not disciplined, and therefore not deserving of success. But what if the real obstacle isn't laziness, but a misunderstanding of productivity itself? This is where we need to pause and rethink the very nature of work. Instead of pushing ourselves to exhaustion, could the key to achieving more actually be doing less? This question forces us to reconsider not just our work habits, but how we define success. For years, the term laziness has been used to shame and belittle those who aren't constantly active. Yet research shows that our bodies and minds thrive on balance, not endless effort. A study from Stanford University found that productivity sharply declines after working more than 50 hours a week, with no significant gains in performance beyond that point. The problem isn't that we aren't working hard enough. It's that we aren't working smart. Take the example of successful entrepreneurs like Arianna Huffington, who once collapsed from overwork and stress. After this health scare, she revolutionized her approach to productivity by incorporating rest and self-care into her daily routine. Huffington's experience shows that overwork can often be counterproductive. The key takeaway? Burnout doesn't lead to breakthroughs, balance does. The idea that ancient wisdom holds the key to modern productivity might sound surprising, but thinkers like Aristotle and Seneca knew something about balance that our current hustle culture has forgotten. Instead of measuring a person's worth by their productivity, these philosophers saw value in reflection and rest. Aristotle even described the highest form of happiness as contemplation. In today's fast-paced world, where we're constantly bombarded by distractions, this idea seems almost radical. But it's not just philosophy, it's science. Modern research supports the notion that taking breaks and scheduling downtime can actually enhance our ability to focus and innovate. For example, the Pomodoro technique, which involves working for 25 minutes followed by a 5-minute break, has been shown to improve concentration and reduce mental fatigue. When we reflect on how ancient wisdom applies today, it's clear that the obsession with being busy is misplaced. Overworking can lead to burnout, but more importantly, it stifles creativity. Interviews with leaders from the Next Big Idea app emphasize that the most innovative people take time to rest, recharge, and reflect. By slowing down, they're able to think deeply, create meaningful solutions, and ultimately achieve more. Arianna Huffington, in one of her many interviews, often speaks about how sleep and downtime are crucial for fostering creativity. Ancient wisdom isn't outdated. It's just been overshadowed by our modern desire for constant progress. The real lesson? You don't have to be on all the time to succeed. In our society, we often confuse being busy with being productive. The two are not the same, yet the cultural pressure to constantly do can make us feel guilty when we're not working. This false association between activity and progress keeps many people in a cycle of busyness that doesn't actually lead to meaningful achievements. Cal Newport, author of Deep Work, challenges this mindset by advocating for focused, intentional work without distractions. He believes that the secret to real success isn't grinding through endless to-do lists, but engaging in deep, meaningful tasks that require our full attention. Newport's methods have helped countless people reclaim their time and mental clarity by emphasizing quality over quantity. Consider this. How many hours do you spend reacting to emails, attending pointless meetings, or multitasking throughout the day? These activities might make you feel productive, but they rarely result in significant progress. Newport argues that eliminating these distractions can free up mental energy for the kind of work that truly moves the needle. The principle of deep work applies beyond the workplace. It can be a game changer in personal projects, learning new skills, or even building relationships. When we focus deeply on a task, our brain operates at a higher level, making us more effective and creative. By prioritizing what matters most, we not only become more productive, but we also derive more satisfaction from our efforts. If you're looking for proof that working less can lead to greater success, look no further than the work-life balance models in Scandinavian countries. Countries like Sweden and Denmark have shorter work weeks, longer vacations, and a strong emphasis on personal well-being. Yet, despite working fewer hours than the average American, these countries consistently rank among the highest in global productivity and happiness. The success of these nations lies in their understanding that true productivity doesn't come from overworking. It comes from giving people the time and space to recharge. This approach is backed by data. Studies show that after a certain point, working longer hours results in diminishing returns, both in terms of output and quality. The Scandinavian example offers an important lesson. Rest fuels productivity. When you step away from work to rest, you give your brain the chance to process information, generate new ideas, and recover from mental exhaustion. This is why creative breakthroughs often happen during moments of relaxation, such as taking a walk or simply sitting in silence. Scandinavians also prioritize flexible work environments, allowing people to work when they're most productive instead of adhering to rigid schedules. This freedom fosters innovation and well-being, proving that success doesn't have to come at the cost of our mental and physical health. The takeaway here? The path to productivity isn't paved with endless hustle. It's built on the balance of work, rest, and reflection. Laziness is a label many of us use to explain why we aren't reaching our goals. But what if that label is obscuring a more complex truth? Procrastination, often misinterpreted as laziness, can actually be a sign of something deeper. According to psychologist Dr. Tim Peichel, procrastination is not a time management problem, but an emotional regulation issue. We procrastinate when we feel overwhelmed by a task, fear failure, or simply find no personal meaning in the work at hand. If you've ever found yourself avoiding an important project, only to blame yourself later, it's likely because the task triggered some emotional discomfort. The key to overcoming procrastination is not to force yourself into action, but to break down tasks into smaller, manageable steps so they become less intimidating. Take, for example, the classic 2-minute rule, a technique that encourages you to start any task that takes 2 minutes or less immediately. This can help build momentum and reduce the paralysis that often comes with procrastination. When we shift our mindset from seeing tasks as monumental challenges to small, actionable steps, we allow ourselves to progress without the burden of emotional resistance. Author James Clear emphasizes this in his book Atomic Habits, where he explains how small changes lead to significant results over time. Procrastination doesn't make you lazy, it signals a need to approach tasks differently. By working with your brain's natural tendencies instead of fighting them, you can turn procrastination into progress. Discipline often has a bad reputation as something restrictive or burdensome, but what if we viewed it differently? In truth, discipline is not about rigid control over every aspect of our lives, but about creating habits that align with our values and long-term goals. Best-selling author James Clear frames discipline not as self-denial, but as self-respect, choosing behaviors that serve us in the long run, even when they aren't immediately gratifying. This subtle shift in perspective can make all the difference when trying to form lasting habits. Consider the simple habit of waking up early. For some, this might seem like a dreadful practice, but for those who value quiet morning time for reflection, exercise, or setting the tone for their day, waking up early becomes a way of supporting their bigger life goals. One powerful example of this is the well-known entrepreneur and author Hal Elrod, who developed the concept of the miracle morning. By dedicating the first hour of his day to activities like journaling, reading, and meditation, Elrod transformed his life and boosted his productivity. This daily discipline isn't about forcing yourself into discomfort. It's about prioritizing what's truly important to you. When discipline aligns with our personal growth, it no longer feels like a burden. Instead, it becomes a tool for building the life we truly want. The next time you struggle with discipline, ask yourself, is this habit helping me become the person I want to be? Our culture often equates productivity with self-worth, but this mindset can be both dangerous and counterproductive. When we tie our value to how much we can produce, we risk falling into a cycle of burnout, mental exhaustion, and anxiety. Research from the World Health Organization, WHO, highlights that chronic stress, often a byproduct of overwork, contributes to various health issues, including heart disease and depression. It's clear that constant busyness without breaks is not only unsustainable, but harmful. This is where the concept of deliberate rest comes into play. Deliberate rest isn't about mindlessly scrolling through social media or binge-watching TV. It's about engaging in activities that restore your mental and emotional energy. For example, many successful people, from artists to CEOs, swear by hobbies like painting, hiking, or even napping to recharge their creative batteries. Bill Gates famously spends his think weeks in a secluded cabin, reading and reflecting, away from the distractions of daily life. It's no coincidence that some of the best ideas come during periods of relaxation rather than during moments of frantic activity. When we allow ourselves to rest, we access parts of our creativity that are otherwise buried under the weight of constant work. By incorporating deliberate rest into your routine, you not only improve your mental well-being, but also set yourself up for more meaningful and sustained productivity. The real secret to long-term success may lie in knowing when to stop. Mindfulness is often dismissed as a buzzword, but in reality, it's one of the most powerful tools for increasing productivity and focus. Mindfulness involves being fully present in the moment, which is critical for getting meaningful work done. Research from Harvard University shows that people spend almost 47% of their waking hours thinking about something other than what they're doing. This mental wandering, often called the monkey mind, leads to inefficiency and distracts us from completing tasks with our full attention. But practicing mindfulness can help bring us back to the present moment, whether it's through simple breathing exercises, meditation, or even mindful walking. Consider how mindfulness plays a role in overcoming distractions. By training your brain to focus on one thing at a time, you can dramatically improve the quality of your work. Steve Jobs was a well-known proponent of mindfulness meditation, crediting it with helping him develop the laser-like focus that allowed him to transform Apple into the tech giant it is today. Even if you're not looking to revolutionize an industry, the benefits of mindfulness are clear. It reduces stress, improves cognitive function, and increases emotional resilience. The next time you find yourself multitasking or scattered, pause for a moment. Take a deep breath, center your thoughts, and remind yourself to focus on one thing at a time. With consistent practice, mindfulness can become a powerful habit that enhances your productivity and helps you achieve your goals. To truly thrive, we need to rethink productivity from the ground up. The myth of laziness, the power of deliberate rest, and the value of mindful focus all point to a new model of success, one that prioritizes balance, purpose, and mental well-being over constant hustle. Instead of pushing ourselves to the brink of burnout, we can embrace a more sustainable approach that honors our natural rhythms and fosters long-term growth. As you move forward in your personal or professional journey, remember that productivity isn't about how much you can do. It's about doing what matters most with intention and focus. If you found these ideas transformative, subscribe to my channel and like this post to stay updated with more insights on productivity, personal development, and wellness. Let's redefine success together, one mindful step at a time.